Now, 5 candidates are interviewing for the job of the Secretary-General of the United Nations. Incumbent Antonio Guterres finishes his term at the end of the year, and one of the contenders is Rafael Grossi, who's head of the International Atomic Energy Agency. He says that navigating some of the world's most sensitive nuclear crises has prepared him for the top job at the UN. Well, Grossi told our correspondent, Li Jianhua, what he thinks of the UN.
The role of the UN is clear. The thing is whether it is fulfilling the role, and I think it is not. For a number of circumstances. It's not a particular person or country responsibility, but the reality is that when you look at today's international peace and security agenda, as I was saying, with wars in Europe, wars in Africa, in some parts of Asia, as well with conflict, Middle East, etc., we can see that there is a common denominator, which is very, I would say, disappointing.
Do you think we have entered an era where power outweighs international law?
That is not new.
Mm-hmm.
That is not new. When you look...
But do you think it's getting worse?
It may be getting worse. It may be getting worse. In any case, it's something that needs to be addressed. The thing is whether in the UN we will have an instrument that will be able to mitigate conflict and to work towards a world not in total peace, perhaps, but in a better place. You remember this quotation that is often cited from one famous Secretary General that said that the United Nations has not been created to take us to heaven, but maybe better to prevent us from falling to hell. So in this dichotomy that he is describing lies perhaps the essence of what the UN can do for all of us.
How can you uphold multilateralism under the framework of the United Nations? Because without that, we can't reach any consensus. Look at the P5.
Well, I would say, yes, the P5 are divided, are fragmented, but it is not...
and some are saying now it's P3.
And some P2. And you know what I mean by that. So, yes, these are realities, and the structure of power is not going to disappear. I'm a realist. So I recognize that these realities are going to be there, but at the same time that we have instruments to improve situations, to avoid the exacerbation of conflicts, and of course, if possible, to stabilize conflicts. And this cannot be done sometimes by the actors themselves. It may be the case, but the UN as a structure, as a buffer, can play a distinctive role. Otherwise, I would not be doing what I'm doing. The UN does not have power, or the Secretary General does not have power. He has something different, which is authority.
Do you think the authority has been undermined because of trust in the United Nations?
The authority is there for you to exercise it. It's up to the, you know, in music, you have the music, you have to play it. And the authority is there, the charter is there, the instruments are there to be exercised wisely and efficiently.
But some countries are not really sticking to it.
It may be the case.
And what would you do?
It may be the case. Well, you know, when we have a crisis and a nuclear power plant is seized and is under attack, I could throw my hands up and say, well, this is terrible. And there might be a nuclear accident, or you can get involved and prevent it. It may fail, or you may have a success, but you have to exercise your role in the dynamic, in the metabolism of that situation.
Do you think your experience from the IAEA is applicable to this top job at the UN?
Indeed, because it's about, of course, it's a narrower area, although nuclear power and nuclear weapons and non-proliferation, I would say, is a pretty sensitive area in the international agenda. But setting aside that, what I'm trying to explain with this comparison analogy is that the methodology is the same. The methodology is a methodology of engagement. When the war broke out between Ukraine and Russia, I went to Russia and people were telling me, you shouldn't go to Russia. Why? I was saying, why? I need to talk to both the belligerents. My job as IAEA is to reach out to both and to see what can be done to avoid an incredible nuclear accident with radiological consequences. Mm-hmm. And this is what we did. Impartiality is not indifference. Impartiality means action which is not biased.